which should you buy? Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Today we are putting two very hyped up running shoes head to head to see which you should buy. In one corner we have the Nike Zoomx Invincible, and in the other corner we have the Hoka Mach 4. But first, grab some popcorn because here comes the running montage. Before we get started today, I do want to let you guys know that both these shoes were provided to me by Running Warehouse. However, they're not going to see this video before you. They can't tell me what to say, and all of my opinions are my own. So let's not waste too much time. Let's start with the specs. The Nike Zoomx Invincible is 8.9 ounces for a women's size 8, and for my size 10.5 women's, this shoe came in at 10 ounces. The Hoka Mach 4 is 7.1 ounces for a women's size 8, and for my size, I actually have a men's size 9 here, which is the equivalent to a women's 10.5. It came in at 8.2 ounces, so it is significantly lighter than that Zoomx Invincible. The Zoomx Invincible has an 8.4 millimeter drop with 34.2 millimeters of stack in the heel and 25.8 in the forefoot. The Hoka Mach 4 has a 5 millimeter drop with 30 millimeters of stack in the heel and 25 in the forefoot. And for me, both of these shoes were true to size, though I know Hoka sizing can be a little funky for some of you, so I do recommend trying to get your hands on these in a couple different pairs, maybe return the pair that doesn't fit, something like that. Go to a running shoe store if you're able to. But yeah, for me, they were both true to size. All right, so let's get on with it, and let's start with the uppers. So the Zoomx Invincible is using a Flyknit construction here. It feels very different from every other Flyknit that I have tried, nothing new there. It is not the most breathable shoe on the market, that's for sure, but it does somewhat get the job done. In the midfoot, there are not a ton of overlays. However, if you go to the back by the heel counter, it is very sturdy and will hold your foot in place. The upper of the Mach 4 is an engineered mesh, and while it's also not the most breathable shoe on the market, I would say it does a slightly better job in terms of breathability here. Again, not a ton of overlays through the midfoot of this shoe, but if you go to the back by the heel counter, this is also very sturdy, and it may not have a pull tab, but it does have this elf-like flare out that I do like, just makes the shoe easier to slip on. Like I said, both of these shoes really are not going to be your best bet in terms of breathability. The Mach 4 definitely does a better job, but there are other shoes on the market that just do breathability better. The Zoomx Invincible feels a bit thicker, especially in that forefoot area, and really everything is just kind of thicker about the upper. It has thicker laces, a thicker tongue, thicker padding around the heel counter. In the Mach 4, it's still a comfortable but thinner construction. The laces are thinner, the tongue is thinner, and while we do have padding around the heel counter, or the heel collar rather, it is a bit more minimal. In terms of fit, I felt like both of these shoes fit me pretty well. It's kind of hard for me to pick which one kind of got the job done better. Honestly, in the forefoot, they look kind of similar in terms of width, but I think where it gets a bit roomier is in the Mach 4's midfoot. The Nike does definitely get a bit narrow in that midfoot, which a lot of Nike shoes do. So if you have a wide foot, or you're just a person who likes a little extra stability and a base for your foot to kind of be on, then I would say the Mach 4 is probably better in that department. Both the shoes are gusseted, so you will get a nice wraparound feel in that midfoot. I had no issues with blisters, hot spots, or irritation in either of these shoes, although I know that some people are having issues with the reflective strip in the forefoot or toe box of the Zoomx Invincible. I didn't experience that. And I think in terms of durability, they're both going to hold up pretty well. Maybe the Zoomx Invincible will hold up a little bit better just because I think the material is a little thicker and sturdier, but time will have to tell on that. I think for me, I would pick the Mach 4's upper here. I do like that it's a little bit lighter, less invasive than the Zoomx Invincible feels. I think about the upper a lot less in the Mach 4 than I do in the Zoomx Invincible. But if you're somebody who wants extra padding, extra protection, and just a thicker upper in general, then I would go with the Zoomx Invincible. All right, so now what everybody wants to know about, the midsoles. In the Zoomx Invincible, it's in the name, Nike is using their coveted, highest performing foam that they have, Zoomx. There is a ton of it here under your foot. If you're unfamiliar with Zoomx, basically it's Nike's really, really high performance foam. It's in all of their carbon fiber plated super shoes. And it's just known for being a extremely responsive, highly cushioned, and hollow sounding foam that a lot of runners across all different kinds of levels have grown to love. In the Mach 4, we have Hoka's new Pro Fly foam, just supposed to be a more improved material, a little more responsive and cushioned for the runner. And under that, this white layer is a rubberized EVA that the Outsole is utilizing, but also really helps aid that Pro Fly and making it even more bouncy and performance-based. Where do I start? So I ran yesterday to film for this video. I ran first in the Zoomx Invincible, and then I ran in the Mach 4 after that. And honestly, I expected to run in this and then put this on and for it to feel like a flat brick. And honestly, that's not what I got. Obviously, the Zoomx in this shoe is really soft, really bouncy and cushioned, but the cushion and the bounce of the shoes felt more compact and more precise. If you look at it in terms of response and bounce, well, the Invincible is still gonna kind of win every time. But just because this doesn't have as much as those two things doesn't make it worse. In fact, I kind of preferred the fact that this was a little less intense than this felt. Really, all I can focus on when I'm wearing the Invincible is how crazy it feels underfoot. And when I put the Mach 4 on, I do feel that sensation of like, ooh, I really like this. It's bouncy, it's soft, it feels great. But then after that, I kind of stop thinking about it. And it can also handle up-tempo speeds. And in fact, it feels really good to do tempo pace in this shoe. And I found a lot of my runs in the Mach 4 a little bit faster than I had anticipated going for that run. So I really love the versatility of the Mach 4. While this is supposed to be Nike's highest performing foam, and it's very responsive, it did well at tempo pace, but honestly, I feel like the Mach 4 does a little bit of a better job with that. It just feels a little disjointed, whereas the Mach 4 doesn't really feel like that for me. What I'd pick here is really tough. I think for long run days, where I'm just gonna be setting it on cruise control, going long and not really having to think about it too much, then I would pick the Invincible. And that would be the shoe that I would choose here. But I think if you're a person who wants just one shoe and doesn't want to deal with having like 300 shoes in your rotation, then the Mach 4 is probably your better option. It can do long distance, it can do tempo, and it can do anything in between. The Zoomx on the Invincible definitely has that wow factor, definitely feels like cooler underfoot, I guess you could say. But I don't think it handles versatility as well as the Mach 4 does. So I think for me, I'm leaning towards the Mach 4 here. All right, so now that we have the upper and the midsole out of the way, let's talk about the outsoles, which couldn't be any more different. The Zoomx Invincible has blown rubber throughout the entire outsole. It's in a waffle-like pattern, and Nike says both the pattern and the amount and kind of where it's placed is based on data that they analyze from various different runners. On the exact opposite, the Mach 4 is utilizing absolutely no rubber here, and instead we have rubberized EVA throughout the entire shoe. Clearly, Nike and Hoka have very different ideas of what outsoles should look like. You know, I like both of these for different reasons. I like the blown rubber here. I think it just grips onto surfaces better, and I do think the pattern, like the lugs of the waffle kind of design that they have, do really help with traction for sure and durability. And I like how the lack of rubber here does keep it a little bit lighter. I don't really have any traction problems on this outsole. And then I also think that these have downsides. I mean, clearly in the Mach 4, durability might be a problem. And here we're just gonna be working with more rubber, more weight. I don't know if I really have a winner here. They're both good for different reasons. And while I like the blown rubber and the traction here, I don't like that it's covered in it. And yeah, I don't like that this has absolutely no rubber. So it's kind of a tie here for me, honestly, and probably just going to be personal preference for you. The Zoomx Invincible is $179.95 on runningwarehouse.com, and the Mach 4 is $129.95 on runningwarehouse.com. And that is a $50 difference, and I'm not going to lie, I just put these shoes down to look on the calculator and make sure I had that right. This is a really tough decision. But for me, it comes down to what shoe is going to be the most versatile. What's going to give you the most bang for your buck? And at $130, I can't help but think that the Mach 4 is just the better option. And that's what I'm going to go with. I can get a long run out of this. I can get a daily training run out of this. And I can get a tempo day out of this, or just some strides in one of my regular runs. At $180, I do get an incredible feeling shoe underfoot, no questions asked there. But I don't get as good of a versatile workhorse as I feel like the Mach 4 is. I think that the Zoomx Invincible is for the person who has a shoe rotation already and has a specific spot for this shoe. I think the Mach 4 is also for that person, but can also be for the runner who just wants one shoe. Whoops, I forgot to mention that if you guys are interested in picking up either the Nike Zoomx Invincible or the Hoka Mach 4, I will link them in the description of this video. Keep in mind, those links will be affiliate links with Running Warehouse. However, that doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can keep making these videos for you guys. Both are really, really cool shoes, fun shoes, make me really excited for what else is to come in 2021. And I'm definitely gonna be taking each one to 50 miles to see how they hold up. Well guys, that concludes my video of which should you buy, the Hoka Mach 4 or the Nike Zoomx Invincible. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a new video. Woo! Have some more videos for you guys next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Heller. See you next time.